welcome back to another episode of Smith's Fishing Outdoors. I'm Fischer Smith, and today we're gonna go back to our educational series on muskies. So we get a lot of questions about probably one of my favorite topics, and that's Medussas. So what we're gonna be talking about today is what sizes to use for different times of the year, and sorry, I seen a bass jump. Different times of the year, and you know what water temps and how to work them, and obviously what rods. So I think we should start out with the mini Medussa. Okay, for the mini Medussa, obviously since it's such a smaller profile, you're gonna be fishing it when you're working smaller forage, smaller bluegills and stuff in the lake. But otherwise, it's got really good hookups. And a lot of places you can use these is like current seams, dams. Earlier in the year, I like to throw this around with kind of like a medium heavy rod, 8 foot, 8.6, something like that. Chaos Tackle Strike is really good for throwing one of these. And how I'd work it is kind of just slower. I just rip. But I'm not doing really hard rips since it's such a small profile. It's obviously gonna move really easy just by doing a bunch of small taps. But obviously, if you're working it in colder water, slower is gonna be better. So that's the mini Medussa.
God, this is a gargantuan. Crushed. This is why I like mids. People say big fish don't eat mids. I've heard people say it. Dude, I've caught a lot of 46, 47 inchers on mid Medussas.
Yep.
That one is...
Oh, he's so thick.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that head on
Dude.
that bitch. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Okay, the mid Medussa, probably the most versatile bait that, like, if I had any bait and I just had one bait to catch a muskie, I would throw a mid Medussa. And that's just because it's got great hookup ratio. It always runs good. And you can basically throw this on any rod you want. I mean, I've thrown it on the heaviest of rubber rods. I'm also throwing it on just your regular bucktail rod. And just how I like to work these is rip, like either one up rip or two side rips, but I always like to mix up the cadence a little bit and get that bait dancing around. And you could basically throw this bait all year round. I'm gonna be honest, I quite literally throw this bait from the start of the season to the last day, when just before ice up. So this bait's definitely is up there with my favorite baits to throw. But that's the mid Medussa. Now that we're getting into a little bit bigger size profile baits, we have the regular Medussa. The rod I like to throw this on would actually be the Chaos Shock and Awe, which is kind of a heavy, maybe an extra heavy, but this bait's super light on that rod. You can just rip it. How I like to work this, there's a bird. How I like to work this is just, a lot of times, if I'm fishing a regular Medussa, I'm fishing some deeper weeds or some deeper structure, and I like to aggressively work it up, side. I usually work it a little bit more aggressive, but as you get later into the fall and maybe early spring, I would work it a little bit slower. Some more side rips, slower up rips, and obviously I would change to a shallow if I was going in the fall too. That's a really big difference you can make. Also, with a regular Medussa, say you're fishing Lake St. Clair or really any water where you're fishing some deeper water, like deep weeds, 15 feet of water weeds. What I like to do is put one of the Chaos weights on the bottom to give that bait more of a down and kind of a hop as you're ripping it. And that can trigger some nice bites. We're getting bigger, guys. The Husky Medussa. Great bait all around. Great bait if you're fishing big water, small water. I mean, muskies love it. If you're getting towards late summer, early fall, and even getting into late fall, it's a great bait. Moves a ton of water with its size profile, and it has a really slow fall. So compared to the other ones, it falls slower, and the muskies just come up and T-bone it, especially if you're fishing lakes that have bigger forage. Say you're in Minnesota fishing Cisco bodies of water or Tullabees. It's gonna be a great bait of choice. Look at this big boy, the monster Medussa. Oh, I've had some fun days throwing these. This bait, it's really not that bad to throw. As long as you're not whip casting it, if you just put a little bit of slack and kind of pendulum cast it, it makes your day a lot better. But the reason you throw these big things is if you're fishing over in Minnesota or out in the Great Lakes and you're fishing bait fish that's, well, basically about the size of this, so Tullabees, Cisco's, or even some Wisconsin suckers. It's a great profile to match that, and again, it's got a really slow fall, and this is even a shallow. We like the shallow in late November if you're fishing some deep suspended fish. Wow, it's pretty specimens there. I love talking about Medussas and rods I like to use for them. You can get all the rods and baits that we like to use for these on chaostackle.com. And line, you can use fins braid. It's gonna be my go-to 100-pound fins for most of these, besides the mini. But then reel, if I'm going from the mini to, let's say, the regular, I'd throw a 300. Anything above, I'd go with the 400 PC Fun. So, yeah, I just love talking about Medussas. So, actually, hold up. A little secret here. Coming July is a brand new color, the Chippewa Perch. This is going to be a Smith's Fishing Outdoors exclusive color, and we've thrown it, and it works. It works. Stay tuned for July of 2024. Pick yourself up one of these. And at that, hope you guys enjoyed another educational video of Smith's Fishing Outdoors. Please hit the like, subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next adventure.